Hey everyone, it's Gary Enerson here. How y'all doing? I hope you had a good week. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy 2016 to everybody. This is episode number 35 of Gary E's Sketch Cards, but it is the first episode of 2016. And I figured I would start the year out by doing a request. And this one was sent in from Talon Tyrell, who wanted to see a Five Nights at Freddy's character. So I decided that I would do a sketch card of Freddy Fazbear. And yeah, let's start the new year right with a request. So the game Five Nights at Freddy's, I've not played it myself, but I've seen it played. I watched the Two Best Friends channel. I've watched them play it a couple of times. It's one of those jump scare video games, and it's one of those things where you kind of have to keep an eye on some animatronic characters, I guess, Disney-like characters. It's almost like the old Showbiz Pizza Place or Chuck E. Cheese, if you want a more modern reference. But the thing about these characters is that if you don't keep an eye on them, eventually they will sneak up and kill you, I guess, by trying to put you into an animatronic suit, and I guess they'll like crush you or something like that. But if you fail, what happens is all of a sudden, out of the blue, they will just jump up on your screen and give you that great big jump scare that I personally am a great big fan of, or not. But like I said, I've seen it played, and I can see where it would be a really kind of cool strategy game if you like playing that. And so it's really weird because the characters themselves are not. I don't want to say they're not inherently creepy, but because they are, and I guess at a certain point they get their skins get all tore up and everything, and you can see the sort of animatronic skeleton underneath. But but they do have interesting features that kind of make them scary. The big eyes for one thing, the teeth that are prevalent when they come out. And that kind of thing. It reminds me of a video that I saw on YouTube. It was called something to the effect of "Why do we find things creepy?" And the narrator was basically talking about how we're all kind of wired against predators and things like that. And predators usually have like big eyes and big teeth and big claws, and just our brains are wired to fear that kind of thing, So that's why that's why we kind of get uneased whenever we see these pictures nowadays of like big-eyed, big-mouthed, ghosts and whatnot. So it was interesting that it kind of tapped into that dynamic, and even just looking at the characters, I think was a little jarring. I think at the end, when you see the sketch card done, I didn't quite capture the full feeling or full scare or whatever, but I think it came out really good nonetheless. So, I guess I'm kind of putting down my own work. That's not good. So, Five Nights at Freddy's. If you don't want to play the game, or, if you don't have a way to play the game, look at YouTube, check it out. Just Google it and take a look. You'll see what I'm talking about. Be ready, because there's going to be some jump scares and stuff in there. But if you're watching somebody who is, kind of funny while they're playing it, then it kind of takes the edge off a little bit. So I recommend you do that. Or if you play it, I'd recommend you play it again. So I guess that's the story here with this. So this is Freddy Fazbear again, one of the killer animatronic characters, I guess. So while looking at the gameplay that I had seen online of this game, I'm kind of surprised that nobody came up with a game like this sooner. I remember growing up with one of the aforementioned restaurants, if you will, and going there all the time. And I wasn't necessarily scared by them, but there was one that had an animatronic lion in, this is the town where I grew up in Machesney Park, and Illinois. And there was a lion that would sing nothing but Elvis tunes while you kind of queued up in the line. And it was my first introduction to Elvis, a big animatronic lion, that, and my mother's record collection. But I sort of never really appreciated it until I never really appreciated it until I went to I went to this place and saw a big lion singing it, and sometimes it was a little intimidating because if I remember correctly, the lion was about 9 or 10 feet tall or some such. Then again, I was a little kid, so it probably just seemed like it was that big. But it only makes sense that somebody would come up with a game that has these animatronic creatures as kind of the bad guys. Not that they're always scary, but I mean, things were a little different. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I was a little kid back in the 70s, and things were different back then. I don't think things were as, people didn't really think about like all the traumatic crap that they were putting out that would traumatize a child later on. I mean, we turned out all right, but I think nowadays, all the animatronic stuff looks safer in that, and if you look up some of the old photos of like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny costumes and things like that from like, I don't know, the 20s or 30s or whatever. I mean, some of that stuff was just scary as heck. So, I mean, again, somebody just was not thinking about, the trauma that they were inflicting on their children. So, kind of makes sense. But, yeah, my earliest Elvis, or earliest exposure to Elvis, if you will, I guess, was a 10-foot tall singing lion. So, not everybody can say that, but I guess I can. So, there we go. All right, time to get out of my childhood psychoses for a while. You'll notice that I used a blue pencil to color in the framework or to draw in the framework of this particular card. That was primarily done because I tried to use a just regular #2 graphite pencil, and I found that on Bristol paper, what'll happen is if you use a marker on top of that lead, especially a light colored marker, all it really does is just sort of push that graphite around the paper, and you'll get your markers all messed up and that kind of thing. And yeah, I probably could have put a spray fixative on it first, but then if I needed to erase anything later, that makes it a little more difficult to do so. So so I went with a blue color, just a blue drawing pencil to put in the framework. And then this is me just sort of attempting to use markers in my, I don't want to say limited capacity because I think I'm learning, but I'm kind of making things up as I go along. I mean, it in the end, it works out and it looks really, I think it looks all right. But I tend to work with the lighter colors first, for the same reason that, most of us would with markers. If you use a light colored marker on a dark colored marker, you're going to ruin that light colored marker, but yeah, this is really working out well. Again, Tall and Tyrell, I really do appreciate your request on this. This was a fun card to do. And, it's not about just doing these cards and getting them out there and, hey, look what I can do. For me, it's actually about, learning to use different things and learning different techniques and that. So this was fun. I originally wanted to do a black and white version of this card, but, in the end, I figured I'd use I don't want to call them just the Copics, because I have I think I have the old, I can't think of the name of it now, but I have some of the new Dick Blick markers that are, I think, about half the price of the Copics, and some older school markers that I've had for years and years and years as well. And, using them all together, it's really been educational for me. And I hope a little bit for you and entertaining for you as well. But I really like working with these markers. This is really cool. So, and here I'm using obviously a thin tip Sharpie to sort of put in an outline and put the black values in, darker values in, and that. Yeah, it's been really fun, kind of switching between pencil and markers. I've been doing a lot of painting as well, acrylics and color pencils and things like that. So, just working with different stuff. I think I brought it up just about like the last 3 weeks or something like that. But it's been really fun, and I enjoy doing these videos. Again, I like the idea of putting something out on YouTube that is not only entertaining, but maybe. I mean, God knows I'm not 100% entertaining. I'm sure it's, I'm sure it's okay, but not tooting my own horn here, um, but it's kind of a positive thing. You know what I mean? To see somebody else draw and paint and use new things, and if something doesn't quite work out, I think it's kind of cool to show that, or to see that. You know what I mean? Is this card as good as people, as somebody else who's been working with these markers for years and years and years? Again, that's all subjective, but I guess what I'm trying to say, that it's okay to try stuff. You know what I mean? It's okay to try new things and draw new characters. And again, as you can see further on down the road, this character is actually coming together really well. And this card is, the cards, you just have to keep telling yourself that, the card is going to be fine. Just, take your time and do your thing, and, the piece is going to be fine, but, again, it's all subjective. In the end, what I think is really awesome may not be awesome to somebody else, or, again, I may think that I'm doing something, I'm using the proper technique with markers or whatever, and I may be 100% wrong. And I'm not ashamed if somebody comes back and says, listen, you could be doing this better by doing it this way. You know what I mean? You're really not utilizing the full power of the markers, I mean, because that's how you learn, is when you have somebody who knows what they're doing actually tell you. And believe me, I am not anybody who knows what they're doing. I'm experimenting right now, and that's really all this is. You know what I mean? So I guess my point is that, don't be afraid of criticism. Most of the time, your friends or, people are trying to help, and if somebody's out there just trying to bust your chops, then the best thing to do is just ignore them and, kind of learn from it. You know what I mean? So it's going to do you no good to kind of get upset about it and, hold a grudge against somebody just because they say something looks stupid or whatever. It's just pretty much, if it's their opinion, they just really don't know how to voice it all that well. And, that's not on you. So I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but I would like to say thank you so much to everybody for watching. There were a lot of comments this year. There were a couple of more card requests that'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks. I want to thank everybody who has been commenting, who's been sharing. As of right now, I have 50 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and considering I've been up for less than a year, that is awesome. I will gladly accept every subscriber. So that said, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you like what you're seeing, let me know. If you have any requests, put it in the comments below. If you see something that I'm not doing quite right, leave a comment below as well. Even if I suck, tell me I suck. That's fine. Do what you got to do. Because again, even the trolls can sometimes make you stop and take a look at things and, get your head in the right perspective, give you the right perspective. You know what I mean? So, let me know what you think about this video, and I will, I'll respond as soon as I can. So I may not be able to get to you right away, but again, I do appreciate all the feedback and everything. So once again, this is Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's. This was one last time a request from Tall and Tyrell, which I do appreciate it. And stay tuned, because I think at some point this month I may have a giveaway of some sort to celebrate 50 subscribers. So thank you to everybody who's subscribed, everybody who has watched and shared. I really, really do appreciate it. In all sincerity, thank you so much. If you like what you're seeing, subscribe and you'll get more videos. Let me know what you think, all that. I believe I've said all that already. Remember, your art is awesome. Keep striving to do your best and keep striving to improve. Be careful, be safe, and be good to each other out there. And I will see you next week. Take care, everybody. Happy 2016. Here we go. Peace, y'all.